In the early 1960s, the African National Congress opted for a guerrilla war. To evade government repression, many of their leaders, like Oliver Tambo, went abroad, and missions were set up in neighboring states. The military wing of the ANC went into action in 1961. It was named Umkhonto we Sizwe, the Spear of the Nation. Its first targets were mainly economic ones.
Initially,
This was a crackdown. In 1963, police seized some underground activists. Documents they found implicated Nelson Mandela, who was commander of Umkhonto. He was already in jail for incitement and was now brought in to face charges, along with the others, on nearly 200 counts of sabotage. The Rivonia Trial, named after the Johannesburg suburb where the arrests took place, became another high-profile legal case, attracting the attention of the whole world. With his wife Winnie attending daily, plus a regular crowd of supporters, Nelson Mandela used his appearance in the dock as a platform to proclaim the ANC's policies and his own beliefs. It was to be his last statement in public, and it has remained his personal credo.
The time comes when there remain only two choices, submit or fight. That time has now come to South Africa. During my lifetime, I have dedicated myself to the struggle of the African people. I fought against white domination, and I fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve. But if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die.
Statements were also made by the other defendants, including a leather worker, Elias Motseledi.
When I was asked to join Umkhonto we Sizwe, it was clear to me that all our years of peaceful struggle had been of no use. I thought a great deal about the matter. I could see no other way open to me. What I did brought me no personal gain. What I did for my people, and because I thought it was the only way left for me to help my people. That is all I have to say.
The trial ended with 8 defendants being found guilty and sentenced to life imprisonment. The apartheid state seemed to have won a major victory.
I shall never lose hope, and my people shall never lose hope. In fact, we expect that the work will go on.
The Rivonia Trial accused began their sentences in the high-security prison of Robben Island, South Africa's Alcatraz. The ANC had to radically change after this. Going to jail, going underground, going abroad exacted a heavy toll on the movement's members, although their jailed leaders tried to maintain confidence.
Their spirits have always remained so high that, in fact, there were times when one felt ashamed of having dampened spirits when you visit to go.
I left South Africa in 1962, and I only saw my children for the first time in 1972. I think that's something South Africa owes me, you know, the childhood of those children. Of course, that's what South Africa owes many a South African parent.
It was South Africa's children who provided the next serious upsurge of protest. In June 1976, Soweto school students protested against being taught in Afrikaans. The police reacted with gunfire, and uprisings spread throughout the country, leaving nearly 2,000 dead. Some are buried in Zambia, where their families live in exile. Young people fled South Africa in their thousands and joined the ANC's external operations, even though the original uprising wasn't totally directed by the ANC.
I think the ANC was a lot weaker. Mr. President, we seek to liberate...
It's also important for the ANC to achieve international recognition. The United Nations already recognizes them. Amongst Western governments, the Scandinavians have been among the first to give support.
They are either be the next government or be very, very influential in the next government of South Africa.
The Commonwealth, too, has assigned great importance to the ANC. After their heads of government conference in 1985, a group of eminent persons from 7 Commonwealth countries was sent to South Africa to try and find the basis for a peaceful solution. Brought together by the Secretary-General, Sonny Ramphal, they talked to many parties and believed they could see a formula for a negotiated settlement. They were impressed by meeting Nelson Mandela, and by the ANC leadership as a whole.
They were cool, they didn't promise anything, they gave us reason, logic for everything, and it was evident that they wished a peaceful solution.
Clearly, in all the discussions we had, the ANC was the one that was mentioned most. Even the government, when it was speaking about it, would see the ANC as the group that they had to respond to.
They found him fit and well, they found him mentally alert, almost surprising.
I met a human being that impressed me more.
I must say, I found him to be a remarkable man. I'm absolutely convinced that he's not a communist. I have no doubt at all that people would respond to his call for an end to violence.
It really is a great tragedy that there isn't some white in South Africa with an equal vision so that they can get together and work out a future for the country.
There's no doubt at all that...
The business community of South Africa also acknowledges the importance of the ANC. They're clearly anxious to avoid a total breakdown of the country's economy through the struggle for black majority rule. In Zambia, in September 1985, Oliver Tambo received a delegation of South Africa's most important captains of industry. A feeling that...
I am not particularly apprehensive of an ANC government in South Africa.
Among the last bastions of resistance to recognition for the ANC have been the British and American governments. But recently, even that has been changing.
I should answer that, I think, because it was we who asked Mr. Tambo to come along, and he very kindly agreed.
6 months ago, this handshake would have been just as unthinkable in Whitehall as it still is for the South African government in Pretoria.
The way ahead for South Africa. The ANC is a key participant in discussions about the future of South Africa. So.
The violent struggle continues for the ANC, whatever Western governments may urge upon them. While widespread international recognition is important to the movement, their struggle depends fundamentally upon the help they get from countries close to home. The support of President Kenneth Kaunda of Zambia is vital to them. They have homes and a central headquarters in his capital, Lusaka. It serves as their main diplomatic contact point with the rest of the world.
They are struggling, these people, the African National Congress, to change that structure.
The cutting edge of the ANC's fight remains inside their own country. The guerrilla attacks they launch, as well as the township insurrections, are maintained in the face of Africa's most powerful army.
We don't see ourselves fighting the whites as whites. We see ourselves fighting a system. This is the orientation of the African National Congress. For a people's army to succeed, it must be able to have popular support. We don't have, the classical conditions of guerrilla warfare in South Africa. No jungles. It's a very industrialized country. But you see, our jungles, our caves and mountains are the people. And the ANC has devoted a lot of time in building massive support inside the country. We are like a flea. We'll scratch that army. We'll disperse that.
But the South African government shows little sign of giving up. Instead, President P.W. Botha has tried to head off the pressure with a variety of minimal political reforms, without fundamentally dismantling the apartheid system. His response to the township uprisings, the ANC's armed attacks, and the mounting international pressure has been a stubborn one, and it's earning the enthusiastic support of his followers. Probably the only hope now for an end to the apartheid state resides in a combined build-up of the pressures on it, both internal and external. If the South African government did yield and enter negotiations, the armed struggle might have to be suspended. So the ANC's fight goes on, in spite of the sacrifices that have been required over the years. But how long will it take before peace and justice finally come to this anguished country?
We are all of us.